we got another bait by Big Bite.
You shall not pass!
What is up, guys? Travis here with Lucky Tackle Box, and today we got another bait by Big Bite Baits. You like that? That is the Coontail. That is a product of Elite Series Touring Pro Russ Lane. Made that nice little bigger profile, guys. It's the same length as your normal little average 5-6 inch worm, except for it's bigger, it's thicker. It's got those little ribs. What that does, displaces more water, gives these fish a little bit more to think they're about to eat. Can be a very productive bait. Anyway, guys, there's a lot of ways to rig this. You can Texas rig it, Carolina rig it, you can wacky rig it, you can drop shot it. But today, we're going real simple. We're in a spotted bass fishery right now in Central California. So we're just gonna use a ball head. I've got a little 3/8 ounce ball head, and then I'm gonna be switching back and forth to a 3/8 and a 1/4 ounce ball head, depending on the wind. We're just gonna fish points and just little high percentage areas these fish should be located at, and we should be able to catch some fish. Anyway, guys, let's break down this technique, starting with rigging. All right, guys, this bait really can be used in a lot of different techniques, from Carolina rigs, Texas rigging, pegging that bullet weight, letting it free hang as it falls down. That bait slowly falls down to the bottom. You can throw it on a shaky head. It really is a versatile bait. It just gives that little bigger profile, a little bulgy little body there that really can just be a little bit more of an enticing meal, a little bit more of a quality meal for a lot of these fish that are down there. But today, I'm gonna keep it very simple. We're just threading a little ball head or a little jig head right through the head. So all we do is rig that down, slide it up on the weight, and we're ready to go. Very simple. The idea is this falls nice and naturally down there. You can slowly work it along the bottom. But what's important is we're fishing a lake that's got a lot of fish. There's a spotted bass fishery. There's fish in a lot of different places, and it's more about putting the right bait in front of them. So this is a good presentation. Now I've just got to cover the right areas and locate where those fish are. And I'm very, very confident that with a bait like this, I'm gonna get them to bite. All right, guys, with retrieval, you want to just make long casts to high probability areas. Now, what's a high probability area? That is an area where you think there's a good chance of being some fish. So we made our cast, we let that bait sink all the way to the bottom, and we want to watch our line. You want to make sure you know if you get hit on the way down. The reason being is if you get hit while that bait is sinking, that means these fish might be suspended, and you want to go to a lighter weight. You want to lighten up that weight so that bait falls even slower, and you have a better chance of getting bit. These fish have a longer time of looking at it. But when you make that long cast, let that bait sink all the way to the bottom. If it doesn't get bit on the way down, then you want to slowly work it back to the boat. So I keep my rod tip up, and I'm either going to make little kind of just little pulls with that rod. So I'm just slowly pulling that bait so it's kind of dragging along the bottom, or I'm going to give it little hops. So little hops, 4 to 6 inch little hops. So I'm just taking my rod tip and just moving it 4 to 6 inches, just little ones. That's going to really move that bait a lot down there. Really, you don't want to give it too much action. If you're really moving that rod tip a whole lot, you could be jumping that bait 2, 3, 4, 5 feet off the bottom, coming back down, and that's usually going to be a little too much action to actually get some bites going. This is a good time as any to talk about location. Where should you be throwing this? Now, I've already brought up high probability areas, but Travis, what is a high probability area? That's an area where there is most likely going to be fish. If you look at a map before you can get on the water, you make a big circle on the main lake points. Some of these different steep bluffs in the warmer times of the month, these fish will really hug parallel to the shade lines and things. Any kind of main pieces of structure or cover on the lake, rock piles, things like that, there's gonna be some fish, especially in a lake like I'm fishing right now with a big population of spotted bass. Spotted bass, in any spotted bass lake, there's gonna be big populations of bass in there. They really thrive in lakes, and if you circle some main lake points, secondary, some main secondary points as well, the majority of the time there's going to be fish there. Then you look for little nuances. You look for areas that have a little wind coming up against them. That'll make those fish move a little bit shallower on those spots. Also, if you move in the back of the creek channels, if there's any little trees or any kind of spots as you go back in these creek channels that stick out or look a little bit different, a lot of times there'll be some spotted bass hanging off those as well. All right, so remember, when we're fishing different locations, oh, there we go, it's important to keep mixing it up. Oh, did we catch that? Did you get that on camera? All right, guys, when you're fishing different locations, especially like I said, we're in a spotted bass fishery. If you're fishing in a lake that has spotted bass, it means there's a lot of bass in a lot of areas. And spotted bass, they move around. They move into schools of up to 3 to 20 to 25 at certain times. And so you want to cover a lot of water, and you want to go to these different prime areas. Right now I'm going down the side of a point, find little island tops, find little bluff walls, keep mixing it up, finding different stuff. And like I said before, we're using the right bait. We know that we're getting this bait down. They've got a natural little fall, a great little profile these fish are used to seeing. And it's all about figuring out where these spotted bass are, and you'd be amazed. You find it on one part of the lake, you find these fish, you know, halfway down a main lake point, go to the next one and the next one, and those fish will be in the same areas. There's a reason they're there. The wind's hitting it correctly, the water temps, these fish are in a certain area, the bait is in a certain area because of the water temps. Once you key in to what these fish are doing, where they are, and you have the right bait, you're gonna be able to find fish, just like we caught right there. And it's not just for spotted bass. You'll be able to do these with largemouth, smallies, but with spotted bass, if you have a spotted bass lake, man, spotted bass are prolific feeders. They're aggressive, and when they're in a lake, there is a lot of them. They really thrive. So know that you should be covering water. If you're not catching fish in an area, keep moving, because there's somewhere in that lake where those fish are feeding. And a little more spotted bass action. Sometimes just simplifying things can be the key. We just went with this basic ball head weight, and just ran around looking for high percentage areas, looking for some little wind coming onto points, looking for main lake points, maybe some big secondary points, little bluffs with some shade, and just kept moving. We were fishing for spotted bass, and spotted bass will really school up. If they're in an area, there's gonna be a lot, and they're gonna be active. And if you find an area where you're not getting bit, keep moving, go somewhere else until you find some. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Like always, throw us a thumbs up, comment in the section below if you got any questions or comments. I always make sure I read and respond to the majority of those. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace. God, the sticks that are loose, man, those are the ones that feel good.
You shall not pass!
Got that one? Is that what he says in that movie? It's like,